Welcome back to Satisfactory. My name is Nilaus and I have a really interesting design and step-by-step process for you today. It's about my mega steel factory, and we're going to start by going to our steel factory just to have a look at what it looks like and why I so desperately need to make some changes. So this video will be a summary of about 16 hours of work in my base, and that's how do I compromise that down to something that's more manageable in episodes? Well, I'm gonna try it, and then you will let me know, hopefully, that whether you like it or not, whether you want this kind of thing, because there will be a lot of different mega builds in the series, and I like to showcase them so that you can either be inspired or copy or yell at me for how inefficient it is. This is our starter steel bait build that we built long ago. It served the purpose just to get us a tiny bit of steel beams and a tiny bit of steel pipes. Now that's all good and fine, but it just doesn't scale as we start making into heavy modular frames and that kind of thing. And also, if we want to build trains, then we need a lot more beams as well. So we definitely need something more. So what the first look at these trucks, they are so derpy. Yep, I mean they're slightly less derpy and they still work, but they are, yeah, they're a bit derpy. So what am I going to do? The first step, if I want to build a new thing, well, I didn't build it at the time. Let me park over here. I shouldn't be too much in the way if I'm parking here. All right, when I built the first steel, I did not have the recipe. So let's start by looking at the steel ingot recipe. And I am going to move my truck, because that is going to be in the way. Let me just jump up here. There, take a look at that. So we do steel ingots. There are different ones. I am going to use this recipe, this solid steel ingot. And the reason I'm doing it, if you can see here, this takes 3 plus 3 gives 3. This gives 2 plus 2 gives 3. Yeah, thank you very much. 50% in increased yield. Very nice. This one technically has better, but then we have to use compacted coal, and I don't want to use that. I think I'm going to need a sulfur for something else. And petroleum coke is also a hard no for me. So this one requires still only iron and coal to get in, and it has a pretty damn good yield. So that is the design we're going to work with. Now, how do I decide where to build things? Well, this is a good occasion to look at that. Well, I look at the map, and then I say, I'm going to need a lot of coal. So that's a pretty good place to start. Let's ping those in here, and then look at them on the map. We have 4 coal locations here. They are all 4 normals. So that means we can get, each of them can at maximum give us, with a Mark II miner, fully overclocked, I can get 300 out of each. So that's 1200 coal, and then that will be the baseline. 1200 coal with the recipe we had looking at here. 1200 coal inbound can give us 1800 steel ingots. That is the baseline we want. So we need to build a big location, and since we have it here in this neighborhood, now granted, I am putting one of the coal lines, as you can see here, is going into my steel factory, but once the new steel factory is done, this one will just be retired. So I can kind of steal that one sort of gradually and then transition it over. Now, that means here is a good location, because if I also look at iron locations, then all the way out there we have 3 normal locations. We have one here. This is the one that goes in here into the steel facility. So we have one pure here, and then out here into the wild out there we have 3 more normal. So if I take 3 more normals plus this one and pretend that's a normal, then I can also easily get 1200 from that. These coal locations and this iron location will come in by belt. This one will come in by truck. I am not in a position to do trains yet because, well, I don't have enough steel. So I can't do trains until I do steel builds, but I definitely want to do it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have a platform. We're going to build a road out here, continuing this path, and then build it up here on top. So let's take a look at as that gets started. So we were just standing down there and looking up towards where we are right now. First, a comment. I hope you are liking this this little city base here. I really am enjoying it, and I get a lot of good compliments when I'm streaming on Twitch that people are really enjoying the road network and just having trucks running around and these small factories here and there. Super nice. I really love it, and I think it's a super cool way. So we have built a road going up here, just only 2 segments here, and then go all the way up. Then we have built a platform here. what I did is I put a train station in just to make sure that I know the height of this one, so I don't accidentally build the entire thing and then don't have room for trains. My intention is that the lower level will be for trains and trucks. So trucks will come up here. The thing is, as I want to transition out of my initial starter steel, then I do need to reroute trucks from coming in here and picking up beams and pipes to come up here and beams and pipes. Otherwise, I will simply destroy all of my buildings relying on steel beams and steel pipes until I have transitioned into trains. So right now we have to make sure that this facility caters for both trains and trucks. It shouldn't be too much of a problem because I'm going to make a massive platform. And one thing that is going to come back and haunt me, as you will see later, is that I built this and went like, oh, this is huge. I did not realize how much space you actually need, because this thing is going to be in the way. And it's just good. Well, let's just call it decoration. So now that we know a platform and we know up here, then the first thing we want to do is build the first level. Well, this is the first level. Level 0 is going to be for inputs and outputs, trains and trucks. And I'm not building any design part. It's just floaty platforms right now, but it is going to be nicer. It's also showing you how I do things. So I wanted to get started on the design, get a sense of it. So let's have a look at sort of a modular design, because that's what it's all about. Here in this one, we have 40 iron ingots coming in and 40 coal coming in. The iron ingots, they're here. We have a choice. We can either do it the simple one with iron ore to iron ingots in a normal smelter. Alternatively, we could do a pure build. This is again where one of the big decisions comes in, and this is where I think that experience weighs in heavily. So at this location out here where we found the iron out here, it's not tapped at all yet, but I know it's out there 700 meters that way or something like that. 650 maybe, 680. Okay, then 680. Oh no, let's get up here. All right, out there. If I wanted to get pure iron to get extra yield, then I would have to build a pure iron smelting facility before I could even hook up my steel or build my steel. And I don't want that. I'm stopped with progress. I can't unlock phase 3. I can't, all of my factories are starving because of lack of steel. If I now have to build a pure iron smelting facility just to get a bit of extra iron yield, nah, that's boring. Especially in the middle of the desert when it needs a lot of water. No thanks. So I decided I'm going to do this. I don't think iron on this map will be a constraint. And if it is, well, boohoo, then we'll fix it in 2,000 hours or whenever we get to that problem. So this one is going to be it. It will be 30 iron ingots in and 30 iron ingots in. That means I have to scale this down to 75%. So it goes down to 30 iron ingots in and 30 coal in as well, giving us 45 steel ingots out. So each module that looks like this, it comes in with coal on the top row and iron ore on the bottom row. Iron ore goes in here. That module is pretty damn nice. It let's see how much space it takes. It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it takes 1.5 tiles wide. So what I'm doing is saying, okay, if that's taking 30 of each of the products, then what if I have 10 in a row? Then that's 300 consumption of each, and then I have 4 rows in total. Currently I'm only building 3, but I'm going to build it up to 4 because I'm going to have 4 coal locations, 4 iron locations coming in, and then I can bring them directly from the mining facility into one of these rows directly. 300 being mined, 300 going into a lane. That's perfect match. And the output will then be also will be 1800 outbound coming out. Each row will then have 300 in of each material, but it'll then have 450 out for each. That means it has to be using the encased industrial beams, and there's one of the fun things. Encased industrial beams is using steel to build, so I am kind of constrained on this. Also, my surrounding things will be using steel as well for the frames. So as you can see, this is just a bit of platform, and what we really want to work on now is getting it done and actually just getting it started. I think that's okay, hold on. This is the ingot placement, and then I want to make steel pipes on the floor above, and then on the top floor I'll make it steel beams, and they'll be progressively smaller, and because they're smaller I can sort of make this into like a tiered pyramid, like an Aztec pyramid of sorts, and that is my plan for this. Let's take a look at some of the framing I want to do with this, and so that we can have a look at what it's going to look like. Now I've spent some time on just making things look a bit nicer. We have now painted roads coming up here. We have go here and turn around. Look at this beautiful beast. It actually really deserves to be taken a bit further away. So what I have now decided to do is take the first level. This is 6 high, and then the next one is 4 plus 4 plus 4. So basically what we have is at this location, this is our inputs and outputs, and yes, that's a lot of steel beams. It's every single steel beam I could ever find in my factory, scrounging it up just to build this. But it's also a bit of a trick, because a trick of the light. You can see very much of it is not at all built. It's only looking nice from this side. This is also the balance that I think is important to do. If you build exclusively sky platforms, then you are going to end up, if you do the beautification afterwards, just ending up with a square box around it. Right? Just making a square box around it, and it's nice. But if you sort of incorporate the design as part of the design of the building as part of the design of the factory, with how big each level has to be, then you can actually make it look a bit nicer. And like we have some of these ones that are sort of nestled underneath the inputs, this one is going to be very big. So I want to do something special, and I'm going to show you this corner. This is something we can always come back to at a later stage, but I want to show you how to make this corner, because it's a pretty cool way of doing it that I found out with the people in Twitch, and they were sort of advising me. I wanted to do something, a diagonal build. This part shouldn't really be, it should actually be concrete. It's also much easier to work on concrete. There. What I want to show is, if you have a 2x2 tile, here, 2x2, and I want to make a diagonal. This is a diagonal. You can see here, 1, 2, there, 2x2. That's the diagonal across. So I'm going to repeat it in here. First thing first, let's do a bit of Pythagoras here. We have, this line is 1, 2. So 2 squared plus 2 squared, that's 4 plus 4, that's 8. Then we know that this distance from that one to that one is the square root of 8. Square root of 8 is about 2.83. And that is distinctly less than 3. So what we know that if I set 3 tiles along this line, it'll reach out a bit on this side and a bit on that side, if I make it completely aligned. Now we're going to need something. If we do a wall, they cannot tile properly, so we're going to need something that works, that's easy to rotate and can be placed in the middle of tiles. Well, hello road barrier. This one can be placed here. So we have that one now, and then we just need to make some walls. You can see that I can build them up here. That's a bit sad, but I can also build them below into the building. So I'm going to do that. Then I can take this out. And now I can use this one that's embedded. And that will be exactly 45 degrees. And it'll be exactly placed in the middle. And then we just build this part. And I take this out because I want this to be an opening here. And I'd link it in there. So that is how it works. But if you then compare it to here, you can see that there is a bit of an overlap. And, well, maybe you don't care, maybe you care. What I've decided to do about this is to use the new painted frames. Do that, and then bring it up here. Now it doesn't cover it, but it actually embeds it in a way that makes it look very natural. And if you look out here, I can also hook up my power lines to this location. Let's look at this one. You can see that this part here is part of the 45-degree angled one. And it's pretty nice. We can do other things with this as well. And it's something I'm probably going to look into in another video at a later point. Sort of how we can use these at different rotation to build different things. I think there's a lot of potential with the road barrier to manipulate things and make interesting shapes. So that's definitely something we're going to do moving forward. We are going to, well, for the aesthetic purposes here, I've taken out tubes, which means getting up here is a bit more cumbersome. But in here, we can see, we also now have some coloring. And if I just jump up here, oh, right, one thing, I absolutely love this part. Absolutely love it. The way that the corner here, or this here, it's not, it's a bit of a solarium. It's not a greenhouse, but it allows light to come in without it sort of being just a big glass building. I really love this. And then we have our building in here in the middle. All of that is up and running. I have 4 lanes, each taking 300 of coal, 300 of iron, coming in here, and that will be awesome. Cool. We have done that. The next thing we want to do is then say, okay, we want to hook this up. We need to make sure that materials come in. This is also where something is really important. I leave deliberately a lot of space out here because I know that I need to get materials inbound here, both iron and coal in here. So I need a lot of space to mess around with it. And then I'm going to get the steel ingots on the other side. So let's have a look at that. And then we're going to go take a look at how we get the iron mining, and also the coal mining, or the coal coming in here. Now we're looking at the factory from the backside, and as you can see, the backside is not done yet. And the reason why it's not done is because we don't know the exact size of all our builds. So we sort of start from the corner we looked at previously, the one the nice crisp diagonal corner, and then the backside is weird. Now here we have our iron mining facility. I wanted to show you how it's done. It's pretty simple. I'm getting 2 full lanes in here. So it's actually coming in at 900 per minute. And I only have 1 truck. And of course, 1 truck is not going to be able to transport 900 per minute. Actually, if this thing actually works, then it could tell us 8 stacks per minute. That's not a lot. I have no idea. We can always add more trucks if we want to. But now we just drive back. There is 1 meager truck going back and forth. Since the whole thing is not operational, then it's actually okay. While we are driving back, this is a good opportunity for me to remind you that all of the space is built on Twitch live. I'm streaming Satisfactory on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays over at twitch.tv/Nilaus. And it's at 8 p.m. Central European Time. If you want to watch more live things, then I'm also streaming pretty much every other day, just random other games. And it's super fun to hang out. And this is where I get most of the inspiration, is actually from chat, and as we design and build together. Now we're coming up on while we are at it, you can also just hit the like button if you like this kind of episode here. So this is now coming in. How about that for parking? We now have our tractors stations coming in, and the next part is looking at how we're getting things inbound. Here we have what I think is a beautiful way, very, very industrial way. We get 4 lines of coal coming in, and they are out here. So all of this is really structured, and then once it goes out beyond the foundation, then it just becomes absolute spaghetti. But you know, it could be more spaghetti than this. And we have an iron line as well. The iron line is sort of sneaking in. The iron line is sneaking in underneath. Up here we still have like work helper platforms. Here we have the coal coming in. I'm trying to make everything as robust as possible. And when we now come in here and look at the coal, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 coal line in, each one transporting 300 per minute. That goes into the top lane, top lane, top lane, top lane. Everything is awesome. And we also have the iron part. Iron part is the first one. The one we just looked at before is coming in right. Oops. Whoa. Okay, sorry. There. That's the iron line coming in from below. The 3 other iron lines are coming from the truck stop. But how are we getting 3 lines from the truck stop? Well, I have 2 lanes able to get out from the truck stop. They're coming in here, 450 and 450. They go into a splitter and a splitter, so that I get, in the beginning, 225 out there and the 225 this way. Likewise this, 225 plus 225. This gets 2 times 225, that's 450 down the middle lane. That means the middle lane will be oversaturated and the, or over provided? I don't know. And the outer lanes will be under provided. And that will sort of balance out. Once this one saturates, as it is now, then it will get into 300 into each. So everything is working. What's not working is, of course, the output, because we don't have that yet. We just have all these beautiful factories making beautiful steel ingots, but it is not going up. That's one of the big challenges, is how do we get things up here? And basically, we now have 2 lines here 450 plus 450, that will go into steel pipes, and then 450 plus 450 will go into steel beams, 2 levels up. And then what we need to do is actually, dude, there's lots of kinks here. I'm starting to sort of build it here. I'm not sure that's going to work. It's getting a bit close. We have now designed a steel pipe facility. It's not really ready, but it's super simple. We look at the steel pipes and just take, if they take 30 per minute, then I need 30 of those to consume 900 per minute of the ingots that I'm coming in. So that is 3 lines of 10. And I get 2 lines of 450, so I'm going to have to do the same split I just showed you with the splitter, 2 splitters and a merger, to get it into 3 lines of 300 going in here. Yeah, basically this is very, very simple, so not much effort into that. 10 lines here, split manifold in, and also coming out on this side. Yeah, that's not looking right, is it? Then it's going out on this side. Oh, right, it is. Now it's coming in on this side and going out on this, on the closest line. And we get it in here, 3 lines coming in. And again, we just do the same fold, same different one back here, merger, and a splitter in the middle. So this one goes in and puts in half of the 300 in here. That's 150 and 150. And that means we now have 2 lanes of 450 coming out. Once that's done, then at this point we need to design the steel beams up top, and we need to hook this one up as well. And so we're back here, and now it's working. The reason why it's working is because I'm just throwing everything into I mean, why not? Why not, indeed? Why not just shove it into an awesome sink and get some power? Let's have a look at the way that we are getting things up here. Okay, there's a something in progress of building here, because I think I want to move it over here. Right now you can see this is also something I think is super important, is like this balance between the aesthetic the aesthetic being worked on at the same time. I've started cutting this one in because I want to get it in closer than we were before, because this part, this is the size of the smelting array. So let's build the wall, this wall out here. And that means I need to actually make it 1 out. And then we can cut it here, and then sort of making it as small as possible so that it goes in the further we go up. But we now have steel pipes, lots and lots of steel pipes. They are not brought back down because that's kind of the most complicated thing. But it's also time for us to go up 1 level and take a look at the design for the steel beams. Well, that's not really quite enough, but it's at least a start. Steel beams, they take 60, so we only need 15 of these in order to consume all the 900 that are coming in. So let's build 15 of these built up here, and then get that operational. This is now our steel beam processing operational. It is looking pretty good. These belts can support 480, so this should not be full, and it's not. But this one has been running longer than that. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the 2 lanes of 450 inbounds. One is going down this side, and that has 8 builds. I need 7.5 on either side, but I just put 8. And then the last one is going to be struggling a bit, because I don't want to build 7 on one side and 8 on the other side. That's just not a good way to do it. And we have finally we have steel beams. We've been striving on steel beams. The reason why we haven't actually built all of this around here is because we just didn't have enough steel beams to build all the walls. But with the whole thing operational, we now have the steel beams, and we're producing steel beams at how much is it? 900 inbound divided by 4, right? Yeah, so 225 steel beams per minute. That's pretty decent. And on top of that, we have 600 steel pipes per minute. Let's have a look at this. This is now going down, but it's not really all the way down here. This is also some of the mess that's still here. This is a steel pipe. I haven't figured it out, but I'm kind of highlighting that I think I want 3 pipes here, or 3 holes in the wall to get down there. But ultimately, it's all about going down here. We now have this smelting array. We have to make sure that they can come through and go down. Very important. And we're now going back down to the ground level. Now we know exactly... Oh, let me actually go up here and show you sort of the design as well. Now I have made the contours of the factory exactly as I want it. You can see that it's using pretty much all the space at any given time. There's out here in the, let's say, the solarium part of the edge part, that's where we do the transports up and down. And now I know exactly how big it is, and then comes the big question: Can I fit trains in here? Well, that's the thing, right? Because I'm going to build a train setup. And how is it going to work? Well, I want to design a global train circle that goes around the entire map. That is kind of the premise of it. And I'll start by making it just a straight line here and then hooking up factories to this. So that means I need to go probably at this level, go out, and then on top of this road here and all the way over, I'm going to build a train line a bit high in the sky, but it has to match this level. That's going to be the train line, and it'll basically mean that everything goes into that train line. Each train will be a 1-4 train. That means 1 locomotive and 4 wagons. That's just how I want the trains. And I don't know if I'm going to be overstraining the global train network by just putting everything into a single train network, but I want to see it. Like with the truck network, I want to constrain it. Remember in the beginning when I said this stone would come back to haunt us? Oh, it's haunting us right now. It's super difficult to build train stations and then also work around this one. I think that's going to be taking just a bit of time to figure out a good way to do it. Let's give it a shot and see how we can build some train setups here. So after a lot of back and forth with operations, then this is the train setup that I have decided on. It's very important for me that the trains go out next to each other. Trains will be in the middle of a tile and the middle of the tile. All right, here, because that means 2 tracks will take 4 wide. That is super important because that means I can build it on top of the road for 2 train lines. I think that looks good. Now, how does it work? Well, I'm going to get my train in on this one. This is the inbound train, and then it will split here into 2 parallel tracks, 1 for beams, 1 for pipes. And the reason why I'm deliberately splitting them here and not just splitting them out here is because I want it to also work as a queue. It's not going to be a big queue, but it's at least going to be able to, for example, the first one here, that will have 1 parked inside the station and then another one parked behind. The other one, the one out here, can actually have 1 in the station, 1 parked here, and then another one parked there. So it actually can have 3. When we come to these designs, there are some things when you design a big build that are your constraints, and then there are other things that are not constraints, but something you just have to deal with. For example, one of the design constraint for me in this space is how much inbound can I make. So once I design that, then that will dictate how big the factory is going to be. But I have to consider, will I be able to bring things up? Will I be able to build things up there and the different floors? Will I be able to bring things down? Will I be able to have the trucks and trains? So the trains particularly are important to sort of gauge whether you think you have enough space. I do have enough space. I actually have perfect space. I don't think I wanted much less space than this. I could fit it in without getting crowded. And any more space wouldn't really deserve much of anything. So I have my trains coming in here. They will be positioned at that point. Of course, there's no train network out there. They just go out and into the void. So, well, there has to be 1 station that's the first station at any given time. Let's look at the last thing, which is something that I didn't really consider. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I also knew that it would be a solvable problem. How the hell do we just manage all the things up there and different floors and all the things down here? Because when it comes down here, right now we're just clipping through here because I just wanted something in a box so I could pick this up. But what I need is these steel beams coming in has to go balanced inputs to the train stop and the truck stop, and then overflow into a sink. That's okay. But then we have also 600 steel pipes coming in. That means it's 2 belts that also have to go balanced into into a train, into a truck stop, and the rest into an overflow. That's not easy. So that is something that takes quite a bit of pathing. Let's have a look at it, as well as take a look at the train signaling as we set that up. We are going to start up the recording again as dawn is coming. I absolutely love the dawn in this game, the new dawn here. Look at the beauty of it, and here we are. Let me just not bump into that one. And what we're going to do is now look at the completed factory in all its glory. It is towering up above everything else here, this massive steel factory. let's have a look at how it actually works. We are going in here and parking the car. Yep, and taking a little break. Ah, it's always good to take a break while after that. And you can see here, this is sponsored by Castor and MDEP, the people who were supporting in the hype train that sort of decided to get the color. This is how I do it on Twitch. And so that they get to decide the colors. It's not a big reward, but it's nice that they get a giant factory and they choose the color. So here we have it. Let's look at the signaling. Signaling is an interesting concept. We have put a bit of an abundance of signals right now. I don't expect it to be any problem, even though I would not signal it like this in Factorio. We're building it out here so that we can sort of isolate. Let's actually do this part so that it has some colors here. This is a really cool idea, but I also can see that the good people at CoffeeStain did not read anything about the 4-color theorem, because there's like a million colors here. Only need 4 colors. And but that is irrelevant. It works, and that's all that matters. We have our train waiting here. And let's look at all of the spaghetti mess. If you know anything about me, then you know I do favor symmetry whenever possible. And this was, I am not gonna lie, this is a massive problem to get this sorted. What we have here is that we have our steel beams coming in. They are coming in here, and it has to split 3 ways, as I mentioned earlier. One way going over here to the truck stop, the train stop. Oh, I love this color. I would never have chosen this, but it's so cool color. This is one of the coolest things about this idea, is that we get some colors that I would never choose myself. Though I can also see that I haven't colored everything. Anyway, so it comes in here, 225 per minute, and then it splits into 2. One is going below, down there, like that, and that, and that, and that, and that. This then splits. So basically it gets 100% in here, 50% goes down, 50% proceeds. The 50% down here goes 25 plus 25 into the 2 back rows. In here it goes again, the last 50% splits. It doesn't actually split, it just goes down and then splits to fit 25 and 25. That means it is an even balance between these ones, and I will just hook it up here as well. While the other side, that one is going towards the location that I will do this any, and I'll do this any, and I'll do this overflow. That one is going over to the truck stop over there. We can follow that as long. And the last one going down goes in here and then sort of merges the 3 lines. Let's go back up and look at the steel pipes as well. So steel pipes will also come down. They will basically have the same pattern. They will have any, they'll have any, and the center one will be overflow. I'll only send things into the overflow sink when I have fed everything else. Again here, and overflow. So what we now can follow, these ones are going over there towards our truck stations. 2 belts of pipes, because we're going to need a lot more pipes. And in there, happy beams ready for the network. And I just need to change the train. Oh, sorry, I need to change the truck. And over here we have the steel pipes going in. Again, what I'm doing is I'm taking one pipe, one lane going into one, and one lane going into the other. Now, what I want to do is I also want to take a look at this as well. We have made these pillars in each corner. We've made the lights here, and I'm just gonna go see if we can go up a bit. Of course we can. It's not the most beautiful way of going up, I'm not gonna lie, but it serves the purpose. Here, this is our smelting array. 4 rows of 10 smelters, each of them there we go, each of them producing 450 steel ingots. That is coming up here. Yeah, we're kind of running out of the iron, as we also projected earlier. That goes up here. That's looking wonderful. And we're going to be going one up to the steel pipes. We're just going to go through every floor. This is steel pipe. You can see it's getting a lot less crowded up here. Here we have 3 lines of 10 that will consume 900 steel ingots and output 600 steel pipes. And that is flowing here, flowing down there as fast as it possibly can. We also have the steel beams coming through from the level above that we're just going to go to. So let's go up and take a look at the... Whoops, that was a slow one. Here is the steel beams. coming in there plus there. This one is starving a bit, and I know why. It's part of the... It's because, again, the iron is not coming in fast enough. But if we look at the output, it's certainly keeping up at this point. Also still have massive internal storage. And it goes down. And then we can go all the way down again and then see it go into the trucks. Or we can go up here and just look at the whole thing from the top. Nothing is on the top right now, but we can just look out at our magnificent factory as it is right now. And it's now ready to feed in some trains. Why did I go down when I said I wanted to take a look at it from the top? There. So what I can do now is take this line. This is over for the iron mine that we built and the truck network. I'm going to build a train line up here that will then sort of go down this coast eventually, and over on this side go through, go up to the sand dunes up here, and then curve down that side so that it basically goes around the entire map, and we can build factories once we have trains anywhere we like. So if we now need some steel, we can simply require a steel train to come in with that. That is going to be the next transition. What we are going to do that is the next transition. One of the big things is, of course, unlocking tier 7 and 8. Now that we have the steel beams, we can build all of these things that we need. So that will be the next objective. I hope that you are finding this interesting. I am absolutely loving this space, and I think it's super cool that I'm not rushing it. I'm just taking it slow and building some big, cool factories, and then we can progress. And there's so much left to this in this series. Like, we haven't even touched aluminium or nuclear or drones or even trains yet. There's so much to go. So I hope you want to keep up the views, the likes, the subscriptions, the joining on live stream. It's super amazing, all of it. And of course, if you want to go the extra mile, then I do have a Patreon if you want to support the channel and the work I do here, or come on over to hang out on Twitch. Thank you very much for watching. That's going to be it. Until next time, take care, and as always, stay effective.